Hey, and welcome to Coffee Time at Bichrome Zone. So today we are enjoying a gorgeous Organo Gold mocha. I enjoy mine with some hot water, and then I put some full fat milk in there just to keep it that extra little bit creamy. If you guys want to, you can get yours in the link in the description, or just DM us or email us at chromie.luke@gmail.com. And basically, you just got to send us your address, your preferred payment method, and we'll ship you out whatever you want and whatever you need. We're going to be talking about resistance training and bone health. More so the relationship between resistance training and bone health. It's an article by Chloe Gray, and she's published this in Stylist magazine. And it's essentially, again, just the relationship between resistance training and bone density and bone health. So it's not exactly hidden by any means, but it's also not necessarily a well-known fact that exercise and resistance training actually increases your bone density. I'll get into that a little bit later as well, but essentially, to boil this down, save you time, if that's all you want to know, that's all it is. If you lift weights, if you exercise, do like HIIT trainings and all this kind of stuff that's intense on your body, it's going to build, you're going to start building you're going to start building bone density similar to how muscle is built in your body through stress, except your muscle's kind of torn down and then it rebuilds, but it rebuilds a bit stronger in order to deal with that stress again in the future. Your bones do a similar thing with their cells called osteoblasts. They essentially, when they get something called a minimum essential strain, which is the minimum amount of stress you need to trigger on a bone in order to actually trigger this response. And when this response is triggered, what it does essentially is the osteoblasts start to lay down bone marrow, and they start to essentially just build up your bone much stronger. To get that kind of technical stuff out of the way, why would you care about this kind of thing? Well, most people tend to hit the peak of their bone density or the peak of their bone health around the age of 30. So when you hit the age of 30, when you're younger than that, essentially you find it really easy to start building bone density and bone marrow, and your bones basically will just do whatever you make them do. As long as you put in that work, you're going to get those results. However, after the age of 30 or after around the age of 30, your bone density will start to go down. But what you can do is you can actually preserve this by doing things like resistance training, by doing things like exercise, weightlifting, going for runs, things like this, and through nutrition, right? So if you take minerals such as calcium and your healthy fats and things like this, that'll make preserving your bone density much simpler, much easier, and much better. Then, as you could have guessed, the more we age, the less bone density we have, and the more bone density that we begin to lose. That's really nice. Sorry for the interruption, but the mochas and the lattes are like little desserts in the cups, and these things are as delicious as they are nutritious. I didn't mention at the start, but all of these are infused with Ganoderma, essentially, which is a superfood that has just a bunch of nutrients in it. It's got like vitamins, antioxidants, proteins, and it's just a really cool way, or it's an easy way to get all those extra nutrients into your body. And you're going to be a lot healthier as a result of that. All those things improve your immune system, they reduce inflammation, help with rebuilding muscle, the protein, and stuff like that. Where was I? Exactly. So as you age, what happens is your bones begin to come, as they get less dense, they become weaker. So you're a lot more prone to breaks, like you've seen old people, for example, when they fall, all of a sudden they could break a hip, they could break an arm, they could break their leg, they could roll their ankle and just snap, and it's quite awful, right? But this happens to quite a lot of people because they weren't aware of how they can preserve your bone density, and then eventually this can lead to things like osteoporosis, which isn't something you want either. So essentially, the longer you can preserve your bone density, the longer you can live a healthier, happier life, right? The longer you can do things, and that's exactly what I intend to do anyway. I'm going to maximize the amount of bone density I can put on, and then through the rest of my life, I'm just going to try and work on preserving that. And I'm going to, like I say it to my friends all the time, I'm determined to try and live another century on this planet. I'm going to live another 100 years as a challenge, if anything, right? It's something fun to do, okay? Assuming I die of natural causes, I'm going to go for hopefully another century. If the world's going to be around till then, the amount of crazy shit happening in 2020 is quite nuts. But maybe we'll get another nice kind of relaxing spell of just pure peace, and then hopefully more people are going to be happy than we've had before in this way. So, anyway, so by doing this, essentially you just you lengthen the amount of time that you can be healthy and strong and happy. So don't think that it's, oh, I'm over 30, for example. If you're watching this, you have by no means missed a window. You can still start now, and I'm sure if you're watching this, you already are working to preserve your bone density, whether you realize it or not. You're probably doing some form of resistance training. You're probably interested in nutrition, so you're trying to get in all the calcium you can. But something that catches people out with this kind of stuff is when they're trying to lose weight, for example, right? Then they stop eating as much. Now, if this happens in all sectors of your body, when you stop eating as much, you're going to lose nutrients, and your body's going to eventually start to break down or take from other systems in order to give to more essential systems. So that's why, things such as meal replacements and stuff like that, or some kind of supplementation, if you are going to have a very restrictive diet, something that will just get you in all the nutrients you need, in this case, it being calcium and fats, it will benefit you in the long run. As long as you're not trying to lose weight just in a quick period, and you're trying to do this right, and you're trying to do it as a lifestyle change, you should be trying to get in as many nutrients into your day as you can. So there's a bunch of exercises you can do. So essentially any kind of compound exercise I think is fantastic. Things that I do for resistance training, I think compound exercises are overall the best because they essentially, they work everything really, and they put stress everywhere. And if you think about it like this, the stronger you can get your muscles to be, the more stress they can actually, because they're stronger and they pull a bit more, the more stress they can put on your bones. And then by extension, the more bone density, or the more mass and density, that your bones are going to have to produce. So that's another really cool kind of like reward for that, So a lot of these things, like people look at sort of health and fitness and they think, oh, this is so much and it's all very confusing. But really what happens is a lot of the things that you work on tend to roll into the next thing. And by extension of doing a small workout, you're actually working out all of these different components, and you're actually working on all of these different components of fitness and of your physical health. So with that, guys, do some resistance training, go for a run, get in enough calcium, get in those minerals that you need to keep your bone density dense, essentially, keep your bones healthy and strong. They're good for protection, they give you support, they get you around, and they make you be able to pick up this awesome mug of coffee. Guys, have a great day, stay fit, stay happy, stay healthy.